A haunted forest in Texas said to be home to a witch's castle and a set of stairs leading to the underworld. A terrifying lake full of wailing spirits who drag people into the murky depths. And a tiny area of Australia home to so many UFO sightings it may rival Nevada. These are real locations that could be doorways to parallel universes. Cameron Park in Waco, Texas is known for being one of the creepiest forests in the state. It's got this mix of eerie legends and paranormal activity that gives it a real dark fairy tale kind of vibe. There's remnants of an old abandoned castle here, for example, said to have once been home to a witch. The story goes that an old hag used to live there, practicing dark magic and luring youngsters in to poison them. When the locals found out, they formed a mob and burned her house to the ground. Now her vengeful spirit is said to haunt the ruins, chasing away anyone who dares to get too close. Some say you can even hear the screams of her victims echoing through the forest at night. Another infamous part of the park is referred to as Jacob's Ladder, a massive steep set of stairs that leads through the forest. It's a tough climb, but once you make it to the top, you get some amazing views. The stairs, though, are said to be haunted by a malevolent spirit, said to grab people's clothes and sometimes pull them down hard enough to tumble down the stairs to their death. It's a massive flat-top mountain sitting right where the borders of Venezuela, Brazil, and Guyana meet. It's part of a region known as the Tepuy, which is a collection of isolated flat-topped mountains that just don't look real, at least not like something you'd see here on Earth. Roraima itself is especially fascinating because it rises more than 9,000 feet above the surrounding jungle, and its sheer cliffs make it nearly impossible to climb from the sides. The top of the mountain is covered in mist most of the time, giving it this eerie, almost otherworldly look. As for what's on top, it's almost like an entirely different world. There are these unique species of plants and animals that don't exist anywhere else, and the area has a strange, almost magical feel to it. The isolated environment has led to all kinds of theories about it being a possible doorway to another universe. Some believe that the mountain could be some sort of portal, where the separation from the rest of the world creates a gateway to a parallel reality. Local indigenous tribes have their own legends about the mountain being a place where the gods live, and many have stories of strange events happening around it. Some explorers even report hearing strange noises while they're there. The Devil's Sea, or the Dragon's Triangle, is an area off the coast of Japan, south of Tokyo. It's often compared to the Bermuda Triangle, which is not a good thing. For decades, it's had a reputation for unexplained disappearances, strange weather patterns, and reports of unusual lights in the sky. One of the most famous stories here is the disappearance of the Japanese military vessel Kaio Maru No. 5 in the 50s. The ship, which was conducting research in the area, vanished without a trace, and no wreckage was ever found. There have been other reports of unexplained events too, including ships being found in the wrong locations, crew members mysteriously vanishing, and bizarre compass malfunctions. There's this idea that the Devil's Sea could be a place where time and space don't quite behave the way they should. The idea of a parallel universe or some sort of dimensional rift gets tossed around a lot when people discuss the area. Wycliffe Well is a tiny settlement in the Barkly region of the Northern Territory in Australia. It's about 380 miles north of Alice Springs, and it's known for one thing above all else: UFO sightings. The area only has a handful of permanent residents, but it's become pretty well known as a hotspot for strange activity. People from all over the world come here to visit the Wycliffe Well UFO Center, which displays local reports and stories of alien encounters. For decades, locals and visitors have reported seeing bright lights in the sky, strange flying objects, and mysterious unexplained events happening around the area. The town even calls itself the UFO capital of Australia, and there are signs along the road warning visitors of frequent UFO sightings. But why here? Why this tiny section of Australia? Some believe that there could be some sort of wormhole here, connecting the place to some distant part of space, or maybe even another dimension, with the UFOs acting as the vehicles that travel through them. Wycliffe Well is in the middle of nowhere too, surrounded by vast desert. The isolation gives the place a certain eerie quality that makes it feel like a place where aliens could roam around undetected. Pyramid Lake in Nevada is a beautiful but eerie spot with a dark history. It's known for its dangerous reputation, and there are all sorts of legends tied to it. The most chilling of these comes from the local Paiute tribe, who speak of the water babies, angry spirits that pull people into the lake, and not for a swim, they kill them. The spirits are said to make these horrid crying and laughing sounds that echo off the lake in the late hours of the night. Over the years, many people have drowned in the lake, and because it's so deep, many of their bodies have never been found. But what's extra strange is the phenomenon of people disappearing in the lake only for their bodies to turn up miles away in Lake Tahoe, about 61 miles away. Hard not to wonder if there's something otherworldly going on in these waters. Eternal Flame Falls is a small waterfall in Chestnut Ridge Park in western New York. What makes this waterfall unique is that it has a natural gas leak at its base, which allows a small flame to burn right at the base of the waterfall. The flame is constant, has been burning for as long as people have known about it, making it a fascinating and somewhat surreal sight. The fact that fire and water are so close together, one being fueled by natural gas and the other rushing down a waterfall, it definitely gives it a mysterious, almost otherworldly vibe. There's a strong connection between the flame and the idea of portals to parallel universes, because the flame seems to defy natural law. The fire burning in such close proximity to water could be seen as this symbol of two opposing forces existing in the same place. Some people believe that the flame could be a sign of energy leaking from another dimension or reality, making it a potential gateway for forces from another world. But whatever your view is on all that, it is just really cool looking. The Crooked Forest has to be one of the strangest forests on planet Earth. It's famous for its trees, which grow at these odd, almost unnatural angles. Most of the trees in the forest are bent in a distinct J shape, and it's unclear exactly why they grow this way. The odd appearance of the forest has led some to wonder if there's something more going on here than just a weird quirk in nature. Some think that the crookedness of these trees could be the result of magnetic anomalies, or even something more bizarre, like a tear in the fabric of space-time. The forest is relatively small, but the strange shape of the trees gives it a haunting atmosphere. It's easy to see why people think the Crooked Forest could be a gateway to another world or dimension. Salar de Uyuni in southwestern Bolivia is the world's largest salt flat, covering more than 4,000 square miles. First glance, it looks just like this vast, barren wasteland, but it doesn't take long to realize something just feels off about it. It stretches out to the horizon, creating an optical illusion where the sky and ground almost merge together. And when the salt flat is covered with a thin layer of water, it becomes this big, giant mirror, reflecting the sky so perfectly that it can feel like you're standing in the middle of the sky. At least that's what I've heard. I've never been there myself. Certainly looks like it from images though. It's surreal, and it's inspired some to speculate about its connection to parallel universes. The mirror effect especially is often described as looking like a doorway to another dimension. The flatness and emptiness of the place also gives it an almost timeless feel, as if time just doesn't exist in the same way it does in the rest of the world. Some people who have visited this site describe feeling a sense of being outside of normal reality, almost as if they were stepping into a place where the laws of physics don't apply. Mysterious region in Alaska, and it's got quite the reputation. People talk about strange things happening here, like UFO sightings and Bigfoot encounters, tons of Bigfoot encounters. But what really stands out is how many people go missing in the area. The rate of disappearances is nearly double the national average, which is pretty unsettling. Now, part of that is because it's a huge, wild, rugged place with some of the harshest weather on the planet. Even experienced explorers have to be super careful here. There are tons of reports of pilots, hikers, even whole groups disappearing without a trace. On top of that, there are stories of strange magnetic interferences in the area, compasses malfunctioning and making it nearly impossible to navigate. All of this makes the Alaskan Triangle a place full of mystery and danger. Are known for being pretty dangerous, but there's a lot of eerie legends tied to the place as well, probably why it's called the Superstition Mountains. The area is full of deep canyons, steep drop-offs, rough terrain. It makes it a tough place to navigate even for experienced hikers. Over the years, more hikers have gone missing in these mountains than in any other range in the United States, about 5 a year. But it's not just the wild terrain that makes the place dangerous. The Superstition Mountains are full of legends, all of them ending in tragedy, pretty much. Supposedly, there's treasure hidden somewhere here by a man who's become known as the Lost Dutchman. People have been trying to find this treasure for centuries, and many have died doing so. Probably the most gruesome part are the reports of bodies being found without heads. Sometimes the heads are found, just not anywhere close to the rest of the body. With all that said, I've been your host James, and I will catch you, yes you specifically, in the next video.